Hi and welcome to a wonderful Yin Yoga session that you can either do at night to settle back in or in the morning to get you started into a beautifully aware day. So let's get started. We turn sideways on our mat, placing our feet hip width apart and integrating the structures of our being by rotating the shoulders until you can feel your shoulder blades gliding down your back. And I want you to feel that your navel region is slightly engaged, and you can draw the ribs back to the spine so you can feel that your whole torso actually gets this lift from the roots. Draw the base of the neck just slightly back so your head can hover over your torso. Inhale, lift the arms, and with an exhale, slowly start descending onto the mat. Feel free to take another auxiliary inhale and exhale as you roll down. Don't hold your breath. And keep all the structures integrated, the navel, the ribs, the shoulder blades, and the shoulder girdle as you come onto the floor, releasing the head. Inhale here one more time. You can feel that you're actually reaching out. And with an exhale, slowly let your arms descend, finding navel, ribs, and wide collarbones. Back of the neck free. And we go into our first pose, which is the Golden Gate. So we need a yoga block or two. So I'm going to take you through gramas, which are stages of poses. So for the first or beginner stage, I want you to use one block and place it short side up underneath your sacrum. So it doesn't go, I'm just lifting my arm so you can see, it doesn't go underneath the lower back, so your butt is actually hanging over the block. I want you to place this block underneath your pelvis so you can feel the triangular shaped sacrum resting on the block. So for the first stage, you could stay here and marinate into Golden Gate. But if you are doing yoga for some time or are an experienced backbender, you can take your block, the high version, again placing the shortest side of your block underneath your sacrum, and you can settle into the block so you feel that you're stable, and then allow your torso with the aid of gravity to slowly descend onto the floor. So this would be the second stage for your Golden Gate. But if you wanna take it a notch further, you're going to use a second block for the advanced version. So we will place this block underneath the second one, making sure that it's actually stable resting on the first block. And again, placing our sacrum onto the short edge of the second block. So feel free to use your hands and wiggle around a little bit until you find a stable base. And then in this third stage of Golden Gate, also or again, let your torso droop down towards the floor. You're resting, or your head is resting on the back of your head, so your neck is free. And feel the arms completely disengaging. So you can stay for the first minute or so with your knees bent, so you can get accustomed to the feeling of the pose. And if you feel okay, so there's no pain in knees or lower back or back of the neck, I would say let's go a notch further. So what we're actually trying to do in Golden Gate is to open the front side of our whole body So the front line in myofascial terms. So you can slowly, with an inhale and exhale, extend your legs and then feel your whole body drooping over the block/blocks and start to engage in a slow, long, deep breathing where I want you to focus on your belly, actually ballooning with an inhale. So we can just direct the breath directly into the stocking, and with an exhale, again, letting your whole body melt or droop over the blocks. So you can stay in this pose for about 3 minutes, finding that each inhale and exhale is releasing your front side. And this should actually feel good. So there is no suffering in this pose. There is this feeling of being lifted or carried at the roots by the blocks and the earth, and that everything else can relax. So this should feel good. Enjoy the deep breath for the 3 minutes and arrive at the being level. So I don't want you to engage in intellectual self-talk, commenting on the pose or on anything else that goes on in your mind. I want you to come also down into your belly, feeling what you're actually doing and arriving at a very calm, secure, still place. And as we are coming out of the pose, feel that you can support yourself by securing the blocks with your hands if you wish, and then one by one engaging your navel, stepping your feet back in. And as you step the feet back in, your whole torso may droop again more towards the floor, the back of the neck releasing. And start by, with an inhale, finding a secure footing through elbows, shoulders, and feet. Lift your pelvis with an inhale, but keep it up. Don't let it descend yet. Take the blocks out and make sure that your arms are reaching forward towards your feet. Wide collarbones, free back of the neck. Inhale here one more time. Maybe the pelvis can lift a little bit. And then with an exhale, without disturbing the shoulders, elongate as you roll back. And maybe you can feel this as a two-pointed movement. So you're actually moving your head by descending away from your shoulder girdle, and your sacrum and tailbone is moving to the other direction, away from your shoulders. Make sure you're articulating every vertebra as you come back down to the floor. And be aware of little jerks as you descend, releasing the pelvis. If you need more space, just reposition your feet so it actually feels good again. And you can go with an inhale into a counter movement, pushing your tailbone into the earth, feeling your lower back lift. And with an exhale, find again the rooting through the navel and the rooting through your ribs as you release the back bend and find neutral here. And then lift one leg with an inhale, and with an exhale let the other leg follow and go into Apanasana, a wonderful releasing pose that has been traditionally used as a remedy for many, many symptoms, as Apana is subprana, or part of the life force, or the dynamic of the life force, that actually draws to earth. So it detoxifies you, it aids with giving birth. So at whatever stage you might be, or whatever you're working on, seize the healing powers of this pose to draw everything out of your being that you either don't need anymore, or that you actually want to birth from the higher realms into this reality. Make sure your head is relaxed, your shoulders wide, so you can breathe freely and deeply. And then to come out of Apanasana, support yourself by placing your hands on your shins. Arrive in your center at your navel. Inhale, lift the feet a little bit. And with an exhale, make a controlled descent where your shins are hovering parallel to the floor. Your shoulders are still drawing back. You find your core and your ribs, the back of the neck, again hovering over your shoulder girdle. And then lift the arms and arrive at Ardha Navasana, the half boat. And feel your breath again moving throughout your whole body. And feel the strong activation at the center. And then with the next exhale, again place your feet onto the mat. Come forward, engage the navel, round yourself, and drape your arms over your lower legs, letting the shoulders fall wide and the head fall forward. Find the breath flowing into the back of the heart, and every exhale be a release that draws you very naturally, aided and supported by gravity, towards the floor. And then with an inhale, let the head hang, roll back up from your center. And with an exhale, we go into the next pose, which is square pose / Sukhasana. So again, I'm going to show you a couple of variations, 2 actually, that you can use. So if it's still very hard for you to sit straight up, slightly in front of your sit bones, make sure you either use a bolster, one of them, or a block to place your hips onto an elevated aid to help you with moving forward. But if you're okay and you can actually sit in front of your sit bones with a straight up spine, I want you to feel that this pose is not, as you may be tempted to, a drawing back of your feet underneath your thighs, but rather a crossing of your lower legs in the middle of the back of your lower legs, and your feet are scooting underneath your knees. So both shins or lower legs are parallel to the front edge of the mat. So this is the first stage of this pose, square pose, which is Sukhasana. And I want you to feel your hips very heavy on the floor, and using the floor again also as an aid to sit straight up, shoulder girdle, navel and back of the neck integrated. So if you're okay here and you have the feeling you want to try and go a little bit further, you can by going into the actual square pose, which would be your right leg on your left. And again here, it's the feet at the same height as your knees and your lower legs parallel to the front edge of the mat. Try that you sit forward in front of your sit bones. And from here, we're going to start our flowing Yin Yoga opening. So with an inhale, reach up and prepare to go into a side bend. And with an exhale, just come to the side, letting both shoulders be connected to your hips. Your right hip is still firmly glued to the floor. And breathe here into your right sideline deeply. Feel free to move your head, to turn it so you feel that your neck is actually still very relaxed. And you're not tensing your jaw or clenching, your hands or fingers. And from here, let's start a very slow and nice feeling pulsation. So with an inhale, we can go up towards the ceiling. And with an exhale, again, feel the left shoulder rooted. And go into a slight twist by pushing your right hand away from you, still rooting the right shoulder and letting the head drop. Stay supported through center as with an inhale you come back up again, opening towards the sky. And with an exhale again, root the right hip, root the left shoulder and push the right arm away from you. Again, finding a connection through the right shoulder as well, and a release through the back of your neck. We do this one more time. So with an inhale, come back up, reach and open. And with an exhale, go into the slight integrated twist with a release for your head. And then come back up again. With an inhale, wide collarbones. And with an exhale, come back up to sitting. Structures integrated, which means the hips are releasing into the floor. You still have access to an active navel and ribs and wide collarbones. And we can flow to the other side. So with an inhale, lift the left arm. And with an exhale, support throughout your core region as you go into a side bend, finding your shoulders connected to your hips. Stay with a strong awareness of a soft flowing breath in and out. And start to massage your shoulder region and to free up your head by turning it slowly from side to side. And then again we go a little bit deeper. So feel again the core support as with an inhale you extend and reach back up, turning towards the sky. And with an exhale again find a slight C-curve by activating the navel, rounding the back, grounding the right shoulder and pushing the left arm away while rooting the left shoulder as the head releases. So inhale, wide collarbone on your right side. Open up to the sky. And with an exhale, go into the twist again. Awareness of the shoulders, support throughout the core, rounded back, surrender of the head. One more time, inhale, open. And with an exhale, descend round and slightly twist, hips firmly grounded or earthed. And then come back up again. Inhale, open to the side bend. And with an exhale, come back up to sitting. And from here, let's move forward. So you can use your hands to find again the rooting of your hips, using your thumbs turned inwards towards your pubic bone and your fingers to the side of your thighs, and just roll your thighs outward and feel that you're actually using the floor to pull yourself a little bit forward. And then let the neck be relaxed And just lean forward to a degree where you feel an activation in the target area, which would be outside of your thighs, gluteal region, so your hips and maybe the butt. And stay here and start pulsing. So with an inhale, you can round the back a little bit, drawing the navel in. And with an exhale, feel the wave descending throughout your body. Maybe you want to take your hands away from your hips, place them in front of you on a pillow, block, or the floor. And continue with this pulsing. So with an inhale, there's this rounding and a release for the head and back of the skull. And with an exhale, there's this elongation and a coming forward. And this should feel really natural. So see if you can gather some space here, as with an inhale, the navel supports the back as it rounds, and with an exhale, extend the heart forward and see if you can come a little bit further down. So maybe your hands will rest on, as mentioned, a bolster or a block or on the floor. And maybe your forearms will come to the floor, and you can stay with this pulsing for as long as it suits you. I want you to have no pain in the knees or lower back as you do this. And then allow yourself, after the pulsation, and if connected to your sensing and being, to surrender into the pose. So your jaw is released, the back of the neck is relaxed, your shoulders are wide, your hands are disengaged, and you're drooping over your legs onto the earth. And again, you can stay here in this released position for up to 3 minutes. And marinate in this beautiful and very powerful hip opener, either in the first krama with your shins crossed or in the second as shown. And if you come out, again, make sure that your arms are still relaxed. Find your navel, let the head drop, and with an inhale, start the rolling up process, but feel free to release again with an exhale. So there's no rush, there's no hurry to get out of the pose. You may be tempted to rush, but I really encourage you also to be very aware of the rebound, and maybe using a pulsation to come back up again to sitting. Before you release, again, find the marinating in the upright position. Integrate your breathing, your navel and your ribs, and then help your body to come out of the external rotation of your legs by leaning back just a little bit with an inhale. With an exhale, right hand on right knee, left hand on right ankle, and release the head by the leg by lifting it and turning it in a way that knee, ankle and hip is in one straight line, placing the foot with an exhale down onto the floor, and then releasing the other leg and straightening out both legs. And for a moment, just allow yourself to come over your straight or slightly bent knees, legs, releasing the head, letting the feet and legs go, and finding the breath wave. And then again, this very conscious and sensual, so I want you to enjoy this, rolling back up from just the release of the forward bend. And then you can actually go into doing the other side, so it would be the left leg in front of you, the right leg behind for Sukhasana variation, or the left leg on top of the right, and repeating the side bending on both sides with the twist. And then the forward bend to release the hips on this side. So thank you so much for watching this video and participating in the Yin Yoga short quick fix. Feel free, if you're doing this at night, to go into a Shavasana or meditation. And if you're doing it in the morning, also like a slight activation. So you can do Ardha Navasana, you can do a very conscious forearm plank after the hip openers, just to get you the little boost for the day and to be focused after the melting. So I hope to see you soon in the next video, and Namaste. Thank you so much for being here.